Hi friends, it's me, Miss Chacon. We're back. Today is my wedding day, and today we're going to have a fun little lesson and read a book all about weddings. So it's going to be really fun today. And just remember that also for our math, today is our Unit 8 test. If you're doing our morning work packet, you'll be doing day 14 today. And also, just because I love weddings right now because I'm having one, you can also click on this right here. So do you see this? It says Tangled Ever After Wedding. It's a little cartoon. It's a Disney short. If you've seen the movie Tangled with Rapunzel, this is the little Tangled short where it shows her wedding. So you can click on that, and it'll take you to Rapunzel's wedding, and you'll get to see Rapunzel get married. So just because I wanted to do something about weddings today, so just to have a fun time. So if you want to watch a little cartoon, you're free to do that. Click on it. It's on our plans on Friday, okay? All right, so let's go to our book for today. Our book for today is called Grandma's Wedding Album. So what we're going to do, let's go to the first page. I'll be the bride and you be the groom, said Emily to her brother Michael. Okay, said Michael, then let's show Grandma how we look. So if you can see, the clothes are too big on them, so I think they're trying on somebody else's clothes. Grandma oohed and awed. A beautiful couple. Then she asked, would you like to see the real bride and groom? I'd like to see you as a bride, said Emily. And Poppy as a groom, said Michael. So Grandma took out her wedding album and began the story of how she met Poppy. So Poppy is their grandpa. We met at a picnic in the park. As soon as we were introduced, I knew Poppy was the man for me, said Grandma. Poppy said he knew we were meant to be. So see, here's Grandma, and she's younger now, and here she is with Poppy. We dated for a whole year. Then Poppy asked me to marry him. Here we are telling the news to my parents, your great-grandparents, Nina and Joe. So here she is telling the news to her parents. She's going, yay, look at me. This is the wedding invitation we sent to family and friends, said Grandma. How many people did you invite? Asked Michael. We had more than 100 guests. They came from all over. And if you see here, there's their wedding invitations. Now, Grandma had over 100 guests at their wedding. At my wedding, I'm only going to be having family, and it's just my brothers and my brother parents and my future husband's parents and his siblings. We're not having a lot of people. What was going to happen is we were going to have a big 300-person wedding all today on May 29th, and it was going to be a big, beautiful day. But what happened is the virus happened, and we weren't able to celebrate with everybody because it's not safe for too many people to gather right now. But I decided, me and my fiance and I decided that, you know what, we're still going to get married. We love each other, so let's just get married. So we're going to be having a small wedding with just our immediate family, and it's going to be great. So the thing about the virus is that it's changed a lot about our lives. We've talked about how it's changed. We've talked about how it's changed how we celebrate things. We weren't able to celebrate Armenian Remembrance Day when all together. Usually we celebrate in groups and we have a parade. We also weren't able to celebrate Memorial Day by coming together and watching fireworks and concerts and stuff like that. We weren't able to do that. And now you see that I wasn't able to have my wedding the way I thought it would. But the thing about the virus is that it's put us all closer together, and it's made us appreciate who we have in our lives. For me, it made me appreciate my parents and my fiance for being amazing and for saying that, you know what, we don't need all those people, we just need each other. And I hope that that's the same for you, that even though right now it's hard and you're stuck inside and maybe you want your family, you get tired of your little sister or your little brother driving you crazy. And that's okay. Sometimes family drives you crazy. But just remember that during these crazy times, just remember to take care and love the people who you're closest to right now, because those are the people who matter. So let's keep reading. When the wedding day arrived, Poppy felt like a king, and my friends made me feel like a queen. See, so everybody's giving them attention, so they're like, "Oh, I feel like a king and a queen." The wedding took place in a boathouse near a beautiful lake, Grandma continued. The wedding party posed for pictures just before the ceremony. So usually at a wedding you have the groom's friends who are called groomsmen, and you have the bride's friends who are called bridesmaids. Down the aisle came the ring bearer. He carried 2 gold rings, one for me and one for Poppy. He knew his job was to keep the rings safe, so they had a ring bearer to bring the rings down. Then came the flower girl. "What does a flower girl do?" asked Emily. "Her job is to spread petals on the ground so the bride has a beautiful path to walk on." The musicians played "Here Comes the Bride." It was my turn to proceed down the aisle. I was happy. I was scared. But when I saw Poppy smile, all my fears vanished. I still remember our vows. I vowed to bring you happiness, and I will treasure you as my companion. I promise to be your wife and your best friend. "Is Poppy really your best friend?" asked Emily. "Yes, he is," said Grandma. There was a fancy party in the boathouse with lots of food and jazzy music. Here we are dancing our first waltz. So see, they're dancing together. Poppy and I gave each other a piece of the wedding cake. It was delicious. Then I threw my bouquet. My best friend Ruth caught it, and she married 1 year later. So that's kind of like a superstition, or it's a tradition where if the bride, she has a bouquet of flowers, if she throws it from behind her back, and if one of the girls catches it, then she'll be getting married soon. So that's kind of like a tradition that people have. Friends and family wished us well, and we left on our honeymoon. We got in the car and drove to a beautiful resort in the mountains. Grandma ended with, "Someday when you're grown-ups, you'll have your own weddings, and I hope I'll be there to celebrate and dance all night long." So that's how a lot of people's weddings have been done. And every single wedding is different, and all around the world, people are changing the way they celebrate. There are so many people who are so used to big weddings, and now we've had to change everything. But if anything, it's nice that through this way, because we get to still be with the people we love, and the people we love still get to see us and be happy for us. So here it says wedding traditions, and it says, "Weddings are joyous occasions when two people honor and celebrate their love and commitment to each other." Given America's cultural mosaic, so mosaic means like it has a ton of different things in America, traditions from cultures and countries all around the world have become fixtures in our present day weddings. From jumping the broom to painting the bride's hands with henna. From something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, to creating new rituals to be passed down for future generations. Traditions make each wedding unique and memorable for family, friends, and newlyweds. So here it is in an African American wedding. Do you see this broom right here? It says jumping the broom, an African tradition brought to America by slaves of the South, was created since slaves could not legally marry. The bride and groom enter into a new life by sweeping away the former single lives, then jumping over the broom or an imaginary line to begin their new adventure together. And then here in a Scottish tradition, so in Scotland, what they do is they wear a kilt. So the men wear kilts. It's kind of looks like a skirt, but it's called a kilt. And it says kilts are often worn by the groom and his best man. During the ceremony, the groom welcomes the bride to his family by wrapping her in his family's tartan sash. So it's like a big scarf, and he gives the bride a big family scarf that all the brides wear. Bagpipes are often played at Scottish weddings. And here in France, the newly married couple drink a toast from a two-handed cup like this, and they drink from it at their reception. So everybody has different traditions, and these traditions have come over time. And just like how I've had to change my wedding, sometimes we've had to change how we see things because of this virus. Maybe we've had to change how we do school. We've had to change how we do school and how we get food, how we do all of these things. Every part of our life has changed, but please don't let it overwhelm you. Please don't let it get you sad. Remember that even though everything has changed right now, it's not forever, number one. And number two, you are all amazing and you have all been doing so good in school and in so many things at home. I'm so proud of all of you, and you have all been doing so good at this. And just remember that even if sometimes, oh, I'm bored at staying at home, or oh, I'm sad staying at home, or oh, I want to go to school, even though you may feel those things sometimes, just take a breath, go, and remember that even though things have changed, we still have the people we love in our lives. I still have my fiance, and I'm going to marry him today. You still have your siblings, your parents, or maybe your grandparents who are taking care of you, or your auntie, uncle. Whoever's taking care of you, you still have them in your lives, and that is always something, a reason to be happy about. Having a loved one in your life is always a reason to be happy. So for today, we're going to be having some wedding fun. It's kind of like Fun Friday. So for wedding fun, we have a few things. So here's a word scramble. So these words from 1 through 8, they're all mixed up. They're not real words. Like keek is not a real word, but it's a wedding unscramble. So some of these words are wedding words. These words are wedding words. Like C-E-A-K, keek. Is there maybe the word cake? Maybe you can unscramble it and do the word cake. So here's a word unscramble. Here is, so what you're going to do is you're going to add the little places right here. So here's 5 plus 3. So I get 5 in my head, 3 more. So 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8. If the answer is 8, then you're going to be coloring it. You're going to be coloring it these different colors, okay? So that's what you're going to be doing. So you get to unscramble the words, add and color them different, color the cake a bunch of different colors. And then right here, you can write, it says, most fairy tales have happy endings. What fairy tales can you think of that end in happily ever after? Which one is your favorite? And that's also why if you want to watch Tangled Ever After, our video on the planner, you can go ahead and watch that. And that is a story that ends in happily ever after. Or maybe you don't want to do a story like a fairy, you don't want to do a story that ends in a wedding. Maybe you want to do a story like Moana. Moana ended in happily ever after. So what I want you to do is you're going to draw a picture of a fairy tale that ended in happily ever after, and then you're going to say which fairy tale ended in happily ever after and why you liked it. So you're going to say, if you pick Cinderella, you can say Cinderella ended in happily ever after. It's my favorite because, so you're going to pick your favorite fairy tale that ends in happily ever after and tell me why it's your favorite. I want to read all about your favorite fairy tales, okay? So you're going to pick a fairy tale and say why it's your favorite. And maybe you don't pick something girly. Maybe you pick another one that ends in happily ever after, like the Lego Batman movie. You could say the Lego Batman movie is my favorite because Robin makes me laugh. You can pick something, it doesn't have to be a fairy tale. It could be any type of story, but remember, it has to end in happily ever after. So you have to pick a story, your favorite story that ends in happily ever after, and tell me why it's your favorite, okay? So you have these three things. If you have trouble solving the word scramble, it's okay, don't worry about it. If you don't want to color the cake, that's okay too. But I really, really want to hear about your favorite fairy tale. So please do this one, okay? These two are just for fun. But this one, I really, really want to hear about your favorite fairy tale, okay? All right, friends, that's it for today. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay well, and remember to hug your family members and let them know you love them. All right, bye, friends.